So we'll go back to the way of abiding. Last time we were going through the all-creating monarch, known by many names in Tibetan, the Kunya Gyalpo, and Sanskrit, the Mahasandhi Bodhicitta Kulaya Raja Tantra. So really cool name in Sanskrit. I think it's Sarva Dharma actually. Sarva Dharma Mahasandhi Bodhicitta Kulaya Raja. Full name there. So very early mention of Mahasandhi, which is a synonym for Dzogchen, and then also very early mention of Bodhicitta in the context of Dzogchen. Much to the dismay of some of these scholars out there, I'm not going to name names, but man, to posit that Dzogchen was a Tibetan invention when you have terms like Mahasandhi floating around long before the migration to Tibet, I don't know how you could overlook that, but okay. So anyway, it gets cited a lot in this way of abiding, which is about the four great Dzogchen Samayas. So your mind, of course, just to remind you, is beyond words and concepts. It's wide open, free of contractions. It's purely present, and it's all-inclusive. Nothing has ever happened outside of your mind. So, Longchen Rabjam, this great yogi and academic from the 1300s, let's see what he has to say in this wonderful intertextual treasury, the way of abiding. So we are on the theme here of openness, and it says spontaneous presence is shown to be naturally pure openness. Now you see how the four actually weave together. You'll see all three in the one, and all three in the two, and all three in the three, and all three in the four. So here you see the third spontaneous presence in the two, openness. And the root verses say, all phenomenon, however they manifest, are sacred in being unborn by their very nature, and so are spontaneously present, unceasing, and not abiding in any specific way. Since there is total purity, free of any framework of existence or non-existence, the nature of phenomenon is expansive openness, great perfection. And of course, great perfection means Dzogchen. And the auto commentary says, since all manifest aspects of the simultaneity of awareness and emptiness are timelessly unborn, they abide like the moon's reflection on water, their sacredness in being unborn permeating them, just as wetness does water, while appearing clearly unceasing and naturally manifest, they abide in the total purity that is their very essence. This is the nature of phenomenon, expansive openness, great perfection. The simultaneity of apparent phenomenon and emptiness is spontaneously present within the scope of awakened mind. And remember, everybody, awakened mind is here all the time. That's your awareness. It's been defined for us repeatedly by many yogis, but particularly in these treasuries where the words are right next to each other as synonyms. So awakened mind is awareness, is the nature of phenomenon. So you have this great lucid, intuitive, mysterious, spacious mind here, everybody. It's right here. And within that is the contraction, our thinking, our emotion, which is heavier, it's more vivid. So we ignore, right? The first of the 12 links of dependent origination is pratitsamutpada, is ignorance. And that's the root of everything, because we ignore this clear light open body that's here when we're not contracting, permeating every cell. So when you get introduced to awareness, your scope of cognition has room to breathe. You're not just contracted. You could be very, very educated and limit yourself quite a bit by simply always being contracted into a smaller dimension of consciousness or cognition, whatever word you want to choose. And so you can be in this tsukka where now the intellect is flowing from clarity, from your lucid mind, so to speak. So it's reorientated in a more harmonious position. Our orientation is positioned more harmoniously. So cognition can open up, but then when you're introduced to light rays and bindus through the Togya practices, then phenomenon can open up. So you have two spectrums opening up, the Sambhogakaya cognition and the energy itself. The scope of the energy itself, Nirmanakaya, is opening up. And of course, Dharmakaya cannot open up. That's the space for all of it, so to speak. So anyway, any questions about that so far? They're talking about awareness and emptiness. Go ahead, Nick.
So sorry to be conceptual, but are you saying that Trekcho is tied to the Sambhogakaya and Togel is tied to the Nirmanakaya or associated with in some way?
You could broadly associate them like that in this particular context. Yeah. Now, Sambhogakaya has clear light, so that would be one of the five lights as well. So they're inseparable. You're getting the Togya aspect within Sambhogakaya as well. So you can't strictly separate them either. But when you go to sleep and you have a dream, um, where are all those colors coming from? Let's say you had a dream of a rainbow. Well, how did your mind make all those colors? Those colors themselves are Nirmanakaya, and that's related to the Togya aspect. Um, whereas the mind that's having the dream, the cognition that's actually making that rainbow, that's Sambhogakaya. Making sense?
Yeah, I think so. That's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. It was, isn't it interesting, everybody, that when you have a dream like of a forest, like your mind is painting that. It's a really great 3D artist and very convincing with its psychic weights. And so, how is it painting a forest? When you're sitting or sleeping and you're walking through a forest, your mind creates that. It's an image made out of light. Made out of what? Think of it like a Bob Ross painting if you want to. You know? So Dzogchen, this ancient tradition of Dharma, says that you're painting it out of mind light, like the prism. Think like the Pink Floyd album, right? You have this pure cognition going through the prism of awareness, right? Pure cognition within this prism of awareness. And awareness says, okay, you make green here, make yellow here, combine green and yellow here, just like on the computer, RGB. Those three colors used to make every other color, every appearance on the computer. We do that. Awareness says, okay, you make this color, this color, this color, except not just colors, sounds and shapes and felt sensations. We can verify there's a parallel when we go to sleep and we dream. We don't just create the green color in the forest, in the tree. You can go feel the tree in a dream. And you can have an emotion about it too. So here your mind is creating green, it's creating feeling, it's creating solidity, it's creating emotion, it's creating subjectivity and multidimensionality. Very powerful stuff, very high tech. So we'll just continue a little bit here. It says cutting through the three times. Anybody know what the three times are? I gotta check in every now and then with you all. 3 times. Past, present, and future. Yeah. Now say it 3 times. Just kidding. Okay, so cutting through the 3 times Tantra. No, Yeshi, it's not breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it says, united as one, everything is the basic space of oneness, which is the fourth great Dzogchen Samaya. Oneness is without origination, the unborn basic space of phenomena. The magical displays that are born within unborn basic space are thoroughly indeterminate and completely unrestricted. Natural lucidity is shown to be supreme openness. Yeah, so you can't have oneness without openness. If you have contraction into your thoughts, you're being divisive, right? You're kind of cutting yourself off from the rest of everything. So awareness doesn't do that. Awareness is naturally open and naturally all-inclusive. So oneness and openness are together. But same with ineffability. If you're sitting here trying to existentially remedy your situation, like think about it and figure it out that way and make yourself feel better with your thoughts, that's a contraction. So it's antithetical to openness. So conceptual proliferation can actually be a complete hindrance to awareness. So ineffability means have that I don't know mind like a baby, like the baby mind, open, ineffable, and then of course purely present. So the root verses say, in awareness, the ultimate heart essence of enlightenment, there is no holding to extreme views, but rather freedom from bias based on characteristics. There is no conclusion to be reached through theories of language or knowledge. It is beyond characterization, can be neither affirmed nor denied, neither increases nor decreases, and neither comes nor goes. Given total purity in the supreme spaciousness of spontaneous evenness, there is uninterrupted openness, free of all extremes or bias. Oh, Longchenpa and Richard Barron are rhyming now. Okay. But here we have another one of these cases where there's a synonym presenting itself, awareness, the ultimate heart essence of enlightenment. See, they're not playing. It's very simple. Awareness is the ultimate heart essence of enlightenment. And it's just sitting here right in front of us. And so the auto commentary, I feel like this one could have been sang like the old school way. It was rhyming. The auto commentary says, since the essence of awareness itself has no substance or characteristics, it has never existed in any extreme or biased way. Since it is free of conceptual or verbal elaboration, it cannot be understood through theories of language or knowledge. Since the essence of being cannot be pinpointed, there is expansive openness in which and what is beyond characterization can be neither affirmed nor denied, neither increases nor decreases, and neither comes nor goes. Within the scope of awareness, its natural radiance arises without being localized, as the display of Samantabhadra, that's Sanskrit for the all good. As such, whatever arises is not beyond the scope of awareness. See, there you have oneness. Just like in a dream, nothing in your dream will ever leave your mind. You could dream of 100 planets and a multiverse, and at no point would any of that leave the evenness of your mind. So it says, the world of appearances and possibilities, whether of samsara or nirvana, converges within the bhaga of Samantabhadra. And so there's expansive openness in the oneness of the supreme sphere of being. So a reference to the Dharma Dhatu there. And then bhaga, I think, is a reference to the basis, right?
It actually means Bhaga means womb.
Like womb, yeah. Okay. So maybe Samanta Badri would be more appropriate than Samanta Badra. All right, everybody. Well, we will stop it there. Thank you so much for hanging out with this text exploration. We're going to get back into the Christopher Wilkinson text in the next session. We've just had some really great discussions going on, and put that on hold a little bit, but we shall return. And then, yeah, I think that's it. Pretty good for now. Any comments, questions, final thoughts before we close out? Everybody good? All right. Another beautiful, beautiful session. Thank you so much. Yeah, everybody coming together here. The name of freedom. We all agreeing on that. Freedom and compassion. So wonderful. Um, yeah, and those of you who are closing down your day, I hope you have a good night, good rest. And those of you who are starting, I hope you have a beautiful day. We'll just end here with a moment of silence for the dedication. And deep bow to you, everybody. Yeah, take care out there.